UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has unveiled a four-point plan to halt Russia's war in Ukraine at a high-stakes summit in London. Seeking to rally world leaders, Starmer casts his vision as decisive, but each pillar of his strategy collides with political and strategic roadblocks. Starmer promised sustained British military and financial support, urging Europe to take the lead in forging peace. Yet with Russia entrenched, Ukraine's NATO ambitions frozen, and US commitment wavering, the plan's feasibility is in immediate doubt. Emerging from talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and other leaders, Starmer sought to unite willing nations. His rhetoric was firm.
We cannot accept a weak deal like Minsk, which Russia can breach with ease. Instead, any deal must be backed by strength. Every nation must contribute to that in the best way that it can, bringing different capabilities and support to the table, but all taking responsibility to act, all stepping up their own share of the burden.
But even the plan's first pillar, military and economic support for Ukraine, faces a grim reality. Russia controls nearly a fifth of Ukraine, with 120,000 troops dug in and sanctions proving ineffective. Moscow sustains its war economy with $50 billion in trade with China and Iran. The UK's $1.6 billion aid package, including 5,000 air defense missiles, pales in comparison to Russia's vast artillery advantage, keeping Kyiv on the defensive. The second pillar, securing Ukraine's role in any peace talks, hits a diplomatic impasse. Kyiv demands full Russian withdrawal, but Moscow refuses to budge, solidifying control over Donbass and other occupied territories. Meanwhile, NATO membership remains a non-starter, blocked by Hungary and Turkey's vetoes, with Washington making it clear that Ukraine must abandon its NATO ambitions. Starmer's call for diplomatic leverage rings hollow without real pressure on Russia. The third pillar, strengthening Ukraine's long-term defences, leans on European pledges, including the UK's missile commitment and hints at troop deployments. But Europe's war fatigue is undeniable. Germany's reluctance to ramp up military aid, despite its $4 billion pledge, signals a weakening commitment. With European arms stockpiles running low, sustaining deterrence against Russia looks increasingly uncertain. The fourth pillar, building a coalition to enforce any future peace, faces fragmentation. While France expresses support, Germany balks at further escalation, wary of its past energy ties to Russia. NATO unity is fraying, and Starmer acknowledged the lack of consensus.
Not every nation will feel able to contribute, but that can't mean that we sit back. Instead, those willing will intensify planning now with real urgency.
London pushed for concrete measures, ramping up sanctions, fast-tracking missile deliveries, and drafting a coalition framework. Yet, with Russia adapting to economic restrictions and NATO's internal divisions unresolved, the effectiveness of these commitments remains in doubt.
So we agreed some important steps today. First, we will keep the military aid flowing and keep increasing the economic pressure on Russia to strengthen Ukraine now. Second, we agreed that any lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security, and Ukraine must be at the table. Third, in the event of a peace deal, we will keep boosting Ukraine's own defensive capabilities to deter any future invasion. Fourth, we will go further to develop a coalition of the willing to defend a deal in Ukraine and to guarantee the peace.
But the biggest wildcard remains the United States. President Trump's hints at scaling back US involvement cast doubt over the $60 billion in American aid that dwarfs Europe's $20 billion contribution. Starmer, fresh from talks with Trump, pressed for alignment while urging Europe to brace for greater responsibility.
We're working with the US on this point after my meeting with President Trump last week. And let me be clear, we agree with the President on the urgent need for a durable peace. Now we need to deliver together. The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air. Together with others, Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing.
The political reality is stark. Russia is not retreating. Ukraine remains vulnerable without NATO, and the Western coalition wobbles under economic and strategic strain. Germany's hesitancy and Trump's unpredictability threaten to unravel Starmer's four-point vision before it takes shape. His plan is bold, but whether it can withstand geopolitical headwinds will be the real test in the months ahead.